Welcome back to my channel, guys. So today we will check out the second episode of the drama Doom at Your Service. She is waiting at the crossing speaking to someone on the phone when she notices Mulmang on the other side of the road. She starts walking when she suddenly gets a severe pain on her head and falls down. The signal has turned back to red and a truck is approaching her. The driver is on the phone and doesn't see her. She notices that the truck is almost close to hitting her when suddenly everything freezes. The truck, the car and people around. Mulmang walks towards her and offers his hand. He says that the DT seems to be on his side and asks her if she would like to die there that moment or she will take his hand. She grabs his hand and he pulls her up. The truck, people and everything is going back on reverse except for our main lead who are walking ahead. He wants her not to let go of his hand unless she wants to die. She holds his hand even more tightly hearing that. They are in the cafe and she asks him how did this happen? How was it possible for him to save her? He says it was nothing, they just went back in time. She again asks him who is he? What is his identity? He asks her if she doesn't remember how she saw Switzerland and Italy outside her door. How he was in a dream, subway and at work. She agrees but it doesn't make sense to her. She feels like she has completely gone crazy. He then proves to her by making the electricity go off and the lights and grinder everything stops. She says it might be a coincidence, not his doing. He then makes all the people's phones sitting in the cafe get switched off. She wonders if he is kinda electric type, who does electric magical tricks. To prove her wrong, he then looks at the sky and makes comet-like stuffs appear in the sky. She gets worried and pleads him to stop. He then makes the sky clear and the electricity is back and the phones start working again. He smiles at her and tells her to always remember that she has entered into a contract with someone who is evil and not someone who is nice. All this long, she is holding his hand tightly. Suddenly, he gets a glimpse of the man who stabbed people trying to kill himself in the prison. He says he has to leave as he has something to do. He gets up and leaves, but she is still holding onto his hand. He questions her that she didn't want to hold his hand first and now she doesn't want to let go. When a female lead explains that he asked her to not let go of his hand unless she wants to die, he holds her wrist and a red thread appears on it. He says the red thread or the bracelet is a promise, as he said earlier, that she won't feel any pain. But she has to recharge it once a day before the midnight by holding his hand. He also asks her to think of a wish and leaves. She notices her driver of the truck, which was about to hit her earlier, coming inside the cafe. She asks him if he remembers the crosswalk, but he says he doesn't. She is shocked that whatever Mulmang did was real. Next, we see Mulmang visiting the man locked in the prison who is trying to kill himself. The door opens and he enters in and the cloth around the man's neck tears and he falls down. The man pleads asking him for help as he's been hearing voices. He can't sleep and it's driving him crazy. The voices ask him to die and they curse at him. He pleads to kill him. Mulmang asks him how does it feel to hear the voices. He deals with the voices every day. He tells him 3 of the people he stabbed had died and 2 are in the coma. He should thank him for being alive. When the man asks him who is he, Mulmang questions him if he has heard of the phrase, I am the first and the last, the beginning and the end, and says he is the last, the end, that is the doom. He leaves and the door closes behind him with the man screaming his lungs off. Next we see female lead going to visit writer Miss Gina, who goes with the pen name Lee Hyun. She is depressed that all her work, the chapter she wrote which was to be submitted, was lost because of the power shortage. This was when Mulmang made the electricity go off. She believes her writing was garbage, hence it was all lost and it is a sign that she should die. Female lead encourages her to rewrite the chapters again within an hour. The writer tells her she knows no one from the company likes her work and that the number of readers dropped too. But somehow, female lead manages to convince her to continue writing. She goes to the convenience store to buy some food for her. When she is in the convenience store, Her neurosurgeon doctor calls her and asks her to take the illness seriously and get treated. Otherwise, the pain will get worse, but she refuses. Next, we see Myeolmang going to visit the deity or the Almighty in the hospital. He informs her about the female lead's wish to bring doom to the world. She tells him that if the garden is gone, there will be no need for the gardener and the butterfly. Myeolmang is frustrated and asks her, why me? As in the sense, why is he destined to be the doom? Why he has to go through this and that too forever? She says, it is his fate and fate is cruel to everyone. She warns him he will be punished if he does anything wrong, to which he replies he already is being punished. Female lead is going back to the writer with all the supplies when she keeps getting calls from her ex-boyfriend, but she ignores it. When he messages her that he is going to her office, she runs back to the office. Her ex is creating a scene and he calls her a homewrecker. He keeps on insulting and cursing her that because of her, his wife is divorcing him. Mr. Cha, that is Lee Soo-hyuk, who is a senior, pushes him out of the office. When the ex comes again inside the office, his wife apologizes to the office people and grabs him and pulls him off. Female lead types her resignation and hands it over to Lee Soo-hyuk. But he refuses, saying he doesn't have the power and she should wait for the boss to come back. In the next scene, we see female lead walking on the street. When she notices the crossing, she is reminded of the morning incident and gets scared to cross the street. She hesitates, but Myeolmang comes there and holds her hand and takes her along with him towards the crossing. He asks her how was her day and whether she wanted to bring doom today. She questions him what will happen if she breaks a contract. What if she doesn't feel the pain till she dies and gets a wish, but also dies without asking him to end the world? He says, then someone else or the person she loves the most at that moment will die instead of her. He will pass on her doom to someone she loves. She gets angry and calls him a fraud, says it is not what he had promised. He questions her, would it have been any different if she had known about this before? Suddenly, the surroundings change and the incident which happened to her in the morning plays again in front of her. The truck is approaching her and she cannot move her legs. He asks her to make a choice again. He says she has to lose something to gain something, and everything she gained in life were due to things she lost. She is devastated and questions him, why me? Why it must be me? He is suddenly reminded of how he questioned the Almighty the same way as her. He replies, it is her fate and the fate is cruel to everyone. The truck is almost gotten close to her and she screams to stop it. And the next very moment, the truck disappears. She slaps Myeolmang and calls him a scumbag. Female lead is looking at the calendar, thinking about the number of days she is left with. Her brother comes to visit her at that time. She looks at him and, overcome with emotions, she hugs him tightly. Next day, while going to the office, she looks for Myeolmang in the subway, in the gimbap shop, but is not seen anywhere. She then goes to visit some male writer. She criticizes him indirectly when he speaks inappropriately comparing writing to women's skirt and when he asks her to set him up with writer Lee Hyun since she is pretty. Writer Jina goes to meet a shaman. The shaman says her life is a complete mess because of a man who is connected to waters. Writer Jina meets a female lead and informs her what the shaman told her about and says she wants to quit writing. She asks if she can change her pen name, Liu Hyun, and wonders why she had to use his name. She worries that her work is not appreciated all because of his name. Female lead tells her that she has decided to make her succeed before she dies and asks her to quit writing serially within a month after wrapping her current project. Female lead's colleagues are enjoying coffee in a cafe. Here we are introduced to Kang Tae-oh, who plays the character called Lee Hyun-kyu, and probably he is the same guy who writer Jina is talking about, whose name she used as her pen name. Lee Hyun-kyu used to be a swimmer and is the cafe's owner, and his dad owns the building. In the next scene, female lead gives her work-related updates to Mr. Cha. He then asks her why did she ever date a guy like her ex. She explains that she was working in a cafe and almost had completed editing about 80 episodes worth of a novel. Her ex shielded her with his body when a passerby almost spilled coffee on her laptop. She said she will pay for the dry cleaning, but he asked her out for coffee. So that's how she ended up dating her ex and didn't know he was married. Female lead keeps on thinking about what all is happening with her, about what Myeolmang said, and having only 100 days to live. She feels exhausted and wonders if everyone lives like this, being harassed by both life and death as if they are neither alive or dead. Myeolmang is in the hospital and hears Dong-kyung's internal thoughts. I feel as if he was sympathizing with her because even he is in the similar situation. The DT's health seemed to have deteriorated, but the doctor saved her at the last minute. Myeolmang and the DT have a serious conversation. What we can understand is that the DT is suffering because she has to pay the price for the world to exist, as the people here call for her the most. She was born the moment a lot of people called out for her. So, she has to pay the price as that is the job of the DT, and that both herself and Myeolmang cannot avoid their fate. She believes that Tak Dong-kyung will not give up on the world like Myeolmang, to which he replies that he will make her give up. He feels that humans can bring doom to the world just like how the DT and himself are both created because of humans' will. She then warns him that she will do whatever it takes to stop the female lead, since not all the humans want what she wants. Not all want the world to end. Then she smiles looking at him and asks him to go and charge female lead's bracelet or that red thread before the midnight. Female lead is getting a photo clicked in a studio. She gets angry seeing Myeolmang there. She asks the photographer to frame the photo in black like how they keep in funeral houses. Seeing Dong-kyung carrying her framed photo, Myeolmang asks her why she has to do it when she will never get to see it. She says it's for others and not for her, to which he questions her if she has decided to die. She gets angry and asks if he only cares about himself. Myeolmang says, "You have no idea how much I put others first. Even after you slapped me, I came here to save you." Myeolmang holds her hand to recharge the bracelet. The street light starts flickering at that moment. He asks her to get used to such things if she wants to walk with her. When female lead asks him whether he made the light to flicker, he refuses but says it's happening because of him. An ambulance passes them and female lead asks if it is because of him too. He replies yes, sometimes. She wonders how he can live like that, but he says he doesn't live but just exists. He explains that he is a button of doom, that every step he takes, every move his hands make, even when he breathes, all leads to doom. Like the car crash and the sudden depression on the road that happened in the first episode was also because of Myeolmang's movements. He exists for the reason of bringing doom. When he doesn't do anything, all hell breaks loose and things start to happen like unusual temperature, heat waves, drought all over the country. He can hear people's voices cursing him. She looks at him and says now she understands what he meant when he said everything you have gained in life were thanks to things you lost. There has to be winter for spring to come and darkness to have light, and death must exist for life. And that he is winter, darkness and death. He nods. As they reach near her place, he asks her should they meet tomorrow again. When she looks at him confused, he says then he won't even care if she crawls in pain. She complains whether he has a mood swing or something. Why did he suddenly change when things were so nice between them and they were finally beginning to figure out each other? He says she should be more clingy to her fate that came to her. As he leaves, he notices a man holding and pleading to Dong-kyung. Her ex asks her to take him back and hugs her tightly and doesn't leave her. As she tries to get away from her grip, her photo frame falls down and breaks. Myeolmang grabs hold of him. He pretends to be her husband, calling her sweetie, and asks her if he should get rid of him. He says she should go inside the house and eat the food he prepared while he takes care of him. In between all this chaos, Dong-kyung's brother comes. He grabs a stick and runs after her ex. She tries to remove the glass pieces from the photo when she gets a cut. Myeolmang holds her hand and heals the cut she got and brushes the glass pieces aside and pulls out the photo frame. He says he now understands why she thought of him when making the wish. He wondered What kind of a person would make that wish at that moment? And she was the only person who had the same thought at the same time as him. He hands over her photo and leaves. She calls him and says, "Let's live together." And the episode ends there. Well, this was one interesting episode. The life of both the Almighty and the Doom is sad. Both are created by the will of humans and they can't do anything about it. They will just have to pay the price for it, and that's what they are called to do. Mjolnir presents himself as this evil being that brings sadness and death, but deep inside, he doesn't like what he's doing. He's tired of ruining everything he touches, dealing with all the darkness every day, hearing people cry and their curses. His mere existence is causing so much pain, and he has to do that forever, and probably that's why he wants the world to end so that he wouldn't have to suffer anymore. When he heard female lead's wish for the Doom, he got happy as it is what he always wanted. But since she was drunk and not sober, probably that's why he couldn't grant her wish. I have to specially mention how handsome and irresistible In-guk looks in the cafe scene where he had to prove himself at the start of the episode. His subtle expression, his smile, was too good for my weak heart. And every time he holds her hand, there's a tingling feeling in my stomach. And the poor guy cannot enjoy his smoke because of the censorship. I don't support smoking though. If you guys like the video, please give a thumbs up. Do comment your views on the episode and also give some love to your girl who is new to this blog. Do share and subscribe. Bye until next time. Stay tuned and stay safe, guys.